The last meeting we're going to have here, which is on nutrition. Most people would think that, oh, this whole thing is on nutrition. We have not talked about nutrition. 10 lectures haven't talked about nutrition. We talked about temperance once, and we mentioned alcohol and tobacco, some things of that nature, but we've done 10 nights and have not talked about that. And every night we've done things that have blown your mind about how these simple things that, oh, I know about sunshine, I know about water. No, you don't. We've shown things that have blown people's mind, and this afternoon is going to be like no other. We're going to show, once again, cures. Oh, did I say that? I'm going to be sued. Well, you're going to have to sue the doctors that say it. Okay? So let's get into this. Let's look at our first slide here, if you guys are ready up there. You know, little people realize how important nutrition is. Our physical health basically is determined by what we eat. Our ailments, to a large extent, are determined by what we eat, and so is our health. Food is a substance which, when absorbed into the blood, will nourish the tissue, repair waste, and furnish force and heat to the body without causing injury to any part. So think about the things that you put in your mouth. How many of them fit into this category? Probably a certain percentage of them do not. And if you read the labels and knew what you were actually eating, much of the stuff that we put in our body does not fit into this category called food. Okay, let's have our next slide. You know, food should be nutritious. We should look for things that actually increase our energy. Nutrition is the science that studies food and how food nourishes our bodies and health. Okay, let's continue on there. Thank you.
Reshaping what you thought about diet. It's not exclusively about weight loss. Lee Memorial Health System cardiologist Brian Tashner believes it's central to heart health.
Diet really has an impact on a number of the cardiac risk factors,
including diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and of course, obesity, all greatly impacted by what we eat. Research suggests people who consume high amounts of animal proteins may face a higher risk of these conditions.
Not necessarily just from the fats, but also from consumption of a lot of the meats and the dairy that we consume.
That's one reason behind the growing interest in plant-based diets. Going lean and green shows promise in both prevention and management of cardiovascular disease. Studies looked at people who went mostly meatless and found tangible health benefits.
Cholesterol levels that are cut in half without medications, patients getting off of their diabetes medicines, their blood pressure medicines, and actually reversal of heart disease.
If you're considering giving it a stab, you don't have to give up meat cold turkey. Try limiting it to about 10% of your diet. About 60% of calories should be grown.
Really trying to focus on the leafy greens, so things like spinach and kale, chard, romaine lettuce, those things, and then really incorporating all other types of vegetables in your diet.
Fruit, whole grains, and healthy fats from things like nuts and olive oil will help flesh out the menu. A diet makeover you can take to heart. For Lee Memorial Health System, I'm Amy Osher.
And really, there's so much food to eat. There's so much confusion out there about what is good and what is not good. So what we're going to, of course, we believe in something that has been for thousands of years, has been the same thing, consistency. We're going to endeavor about what we're going to eat, what is good to eat, but why. We're going to talk about why here before we get into some of these other things. The food that we need to eat to maintain. So this is everything we've done. These are all the lectures that we've done. And this is one we're doing on nutrition. These are the 10 laws, and each one of these has had cures. Each one of these has had cures, some of them between 10 to 15% for all the major diseases each night. And we're going to just show, again, another way. Combining these, if you were to put all of these into practice, you would be yourself unstoppable if you could put these free things into use. Okay, next slide. All right. So a plant-rich diet can help cut type 2 diabetes by 50%. And combined with the rest of this stuff and going on, we're going to show you even more amazing things. If you just keep flipping through these, it's going to go to the next line as we read them. Osama. A plant-rich diet dramatically lowers overall cholesterol. So hit the next slide. Okay. So just like everything else, dramatically reducing cholesterol. These 10 things, you're basically going to have no cholesterol. You're going to have the proper diet. You're going to get the proper cholesterol. We need the HDLs in our body and the right level of LDLs. Okay, next slide. Studies are showing that a plant-rich diet can help reverse coronary artery disease, which is actually the number 1 killer in the world, the United States, first world countries. Next slide. Plant-rich diets lowers your BMI, how much you weigh, while meat consumption is linked to increased obesity. And lastly, red meat consumption is directly linked with increased type 2 diabetes, heart attack. Okay. So next slide. And then one more. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit before we get into so these are our major parts of, this is what consists of food, right? So think about these. On the top, we got our carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins, all right? And that's basically the food we eat. These other ones are the ones we don't see. Your vitamins, your roughage, water, and minerals. You need your rough food, your greens that help push you through, which is extremely important. If you don't have stuff processing through your intestines, when John Wayne died, they did an autopsy on him, and his entire body was full of fecal matter from here to his throat all the way through. So roughage is extremely important because, okay, he died that way, but what happens when you just have pockets of it? Then you live in a decrepit way until you die. We want to live in a healthful way. So you don't have to eat your roughage. You can die when you're in your 60s if you want to. But these things, we want to live to be 100, and we want to be knocking on doors and riding bikes when we're 100. We don't want to be in a nursing home, and this is the avenue for that. So let's look at our next slide here. Our next slide is going to talk about the same things and what these are. So nutrients are your primary functions of what everything is. So water is so important. It changes the chemistry of your blood. Your brain, right, your brain's 85% water. You're not drinking half of your weight in ounces is what you drink every day, half your weight in ounces if you're doing nothing. If you're out in the sun, you need to drink, another liter or so. Okay, protein. Everybody knows about protein. Builds new tissues, antibodies, enzymes. Let me ask you a question. Everybody talks about protein. In the nutritional books, you're supposed to get between 10 and 32% protein. Most Americans are eating 50% protein. There's people with their kidneys are shutting down because they're processing too much protein. So if you're lifting weights and all that and stuff, you want to eat more protein. Peas, kales, vegetables have more protein in it than milk. That's a fat, or than meat. There are vegetables that have more protein in it than meat. Okay, and it's the fat that's coming with this. But let me ask you this question. So you want to be in the higher levels, the smaller levels. If you're not, if you need to maintain around 10%, is fine. What's the largest animal in the world? An elephant. What does an elephant eat? Do they eat steak? Oh, okay. I know vegetarians that weigh 450 pounds that are grossly overweight. Even being a vegan, Christy Green being a raw Christy, if you looked her up, the girl whose eyes changed colors, she got overweight. Okay. How much protein does an elephant eat? 8.5% of his diet is protein. And an elephant. Do you think maybe we've been grossly misinformed? You need your vitamins, your minerals, to activate your protein. If you're just eating all this protein and you're not eating your greens, guess what? The enzymes in those greens turn on the protein so they can function. So you got all this raw material protein, but you're not eating the stuff to activate it to grow muscles? Guess what's going to happen to all that? Okay, and all this other stuff. Okay, carbohydrates. Look, your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fat is where you get your energy. You got all these fads. We're talking about what the Bible has taught us. You need a simple diet, fruits, grains, nuts, vegetables. It's super simple. Keep it simple. All these modern fads kill you. These guys have wound up dead and with diseases. You go on carbs are bad. No, they're not. They're your energy. So what are you saying when you say I'm going to go on a no carb diet? You're saying I'm going to go on a no energy diet. How's that going to work for you? Then where are you going to get your energy? From these, you're going to make it up and your body's going to compensate from these other things. So stop eating the bad carbohydrates. Look, you need to eat whole wheat. Try going out and ordering whole wheat. You can't. All you get is white rice, white flour, and what that is the white rice. What they've done by bleaching that is take out the vitamins and take out the Nutrigerm in there. They've taken out the part that makes it nutritious. So white flour in all our burritos and white rice that we eat is nutrient deficient food. Why do we want to fill up on that? Well, it tastes good. I like the way they fry it, the oils. But you can't get away from it. Hardly any place serves that stuff. And that's what we've come to a place where they don't feed us nutrition, all right? So I'm ready when you guys are up there. Next slide. So there's a lot to that, but we want to fill up, and it's almost akin to an alcoholic. An alcoholic becomes nutrient deficient because all he does is drink alcohol. And with eating all this white flour and white rice, it's kind of a similar thing is happening. You're filling up on all that stuff. It's not giving you the nutrients. Carbohydrates, fats, proteins are the only nutrient foods that provide energy. Those are our macronutrients. Okay, next slide. And they're just called micro macro because of their size of them. Okay? You can't see them, so that's basically, but they're vitally important, right? We just need small amounts of them. And you get enough of these, really. If you're eating right, if you're eating a colorful plate, make sure, you don't need a fad. Just put every color on your plate. Okay? And that doesn't mean Skittles. But then it's a simple way of making sure you're getting everything you need. Let's have our next slide here. Okay, vitamins, minerals are micronutrients, all right? So that's basically, they support everything that they support. Okay, our next slide. Okay, what causes sickness and disease? Anybody want to venture a guess at this? Anybody out there? Okay, true. Vicky knows. We're looking for a certain answer here. Awesome. Very well. So next slide. Next slide. So Seth quoted our next slide verbatim. Good job. Good job. And so dis-ease is your body, you're not at ease anymore. Hey, this guy's taking it easy. He's breaking all the laws. He's breaking the law of protein. He's breaking the law of carbohydrates, the law of eating his greens. So I'm going to put some dis-ease to this guy, says your body, and I'm going to create some dysfunction so that you'll respond. Oh, what do we do? Go to the doctor. Oh, well, that's one way to do it. Or you could start eating the foods that you're supposed to eat, And we said last night about the ER visits. There's a ton of ER visits that would be eradicated if people would just drink water. How many times do you go to the ER and they just give you an IV? You just spent like $1,000. If you don't have insurance, drink water. All right, next slide. Okay. Whatever we eat is broken down into nutrients that fuel our cells, the building blocks of our body. How weird is this that the food that you eat turns into blood? Think about that. You're turning everything you eat turn into blood, except for some of it that can't be processed. Then that blood turns into tissues. Your tissues turn into organs. One of your organs is your brain. Your brain produces thoughts. Thoughts produce action. You control what you do by your actions. You think and then you act. Actions produce habits. Habits produce destiny. So think about that. That's a real phenomena. All right? Next slide. All right, thank you.
New local weight loss research shows different diets can help overweight Australians target fat in specific parts of the body. The study could be a breakthrough for the treatment of diabetes, often triggered by a high proportion of fat around the abdomen.
For years, overweight Australians have been labelled apple or pear body types. Now, new diabetes research shows body shapes not just determined by genetics.
You might be able to convert somebody from being metabolically unhealthy obese to metabolically healthy obese.
The director of the University of South Australia's Sansom Institute for Health Research has shown different diets make overweight Australians with diabetes lose weight from different areas. On a low-fat diet, they lost weight from their hips and thighs, while on a Mediterranean diet, they lost dangerous fat from their abdomen.
But we actually think it's producing a healthier distribution of body fat, and which may explain why it's actually benefiting them and lowering their risk of heart disease.
This research is so important because a high proportion of fat around the abdomen often indicates a person's at risk of diabetes, a disease which is dangerously on the rise. The Mediterranean diet's based on what people on the island of Crete ate in the 1950s. It's more than three times the size of a typical Western meal of the same calories and fat content. Best of all, it tastes good and is easy for Australians to follow.
Everything here is good for you. It's fresh, it's got lots of different colours, you can cook it in all sorts of different ways.
Kangaroo's an excellent choice of protein, as is seafood, and both should be cooked with extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil. And every meal should be finished off with a serve of fresh seasonal fruit. Esther Lindstrom, 10 News.
New local weight loss research shows different...
Okay. Anybody want some kangaroo? That'd be a different seminar. Okay. So, really, all these different laws that people are breaking, right? These different health laws. They're breaking, not getting their vitamins and proteins and nutrients. But in most situations, the same sickness that comes as a result of unlawful food violations can be corrected, right? By eating correctly. And that's what this seminar is for, is just to encourage us in the right foods to eat. I think we just did this one, didn't we? So let's go move on here to our next. Got two more we should have after.
For the rest of the hour, our focus is on the power of food to heal your body, to give you more energy, and even help you lose weight. Now, we're starting with the promise of food as medicine. You have the power to help prevent cancer. That is an absolute truism. The solution lies in your supermarket. Today, I'm revealing 4 of the best cancer-fighting foods out there. Dr. Will Clower is a nutritionist and founder of the Mediterranean Wellness Initiative. He's going to help us out. Let me ask the big question for everybody. Yeah. We spend literally billions of dollars researching cancer solutions. Yeah. Yet you're making the argument that food could be as powerful as a tool to prevent cancer. Why should folks believe that?
Well, all of these foods that we're going to be talking about are backed up by solid research showing that when you consume them, you can not only slow the growth of cancer, but you can also prevent the onset at the beginning.
We're going to go through the hard science on this, but I want you to remember what the action steps are, the takeaways are. So the first cancer-fighting food are collard greens, which you've all heard about. But why are collard greens so important in fighting cancer?
Well, people spend a lot of money on detox your body, this and that. You know what? Do you want to detox your body? Collards. If you have a tumor, it needs nutrients to grow. Right. And that needs blood supply. And what collards do is they will interrupt that blood supply so your tumor can't get the nutrients to grow. So essentially, when you eat your collards, you'll starve your tumor. And that is a starvation diet I can live with.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that? Green leafy vegetables, collards. Put that with a little bit of coconut oil. Oh man, that's good. A little bit, I like it. And You can stop that? Wow, it's terrific. How about fibroids too, you know, tumor-like things that you could stop with that. Okay, the China study. Did anybody hear about this? Any good thing? This book was when I tried to do a paper in a nutrition class I was doing. I couldn't even use this book because it's so boycotted. Anytime they put out something that's awesome. If you guys have seen Forks Over Knives, anybody seen that? Forks Over Knives? Has anybody seen What the Health? Another great one. What the Health? Look that one up. It's awesome. And as soon as that came out on YouTube, there's like one's boycotting it. Oh, it's false right after it. But there's straight up facts. You can't counter what they're saying. Doesn't matter what these other videos are on. It's funny that the videos and the other books that boycott these, they don't address what these people are addressing. They just say it's false and they don't show any reason why. Okay. Studies have shown that a low-fat, high-fiber, high-carb diet, yes, high-carb diet, can be effective in reducing the risk of developing type 1 diabetes, which they almost said was impossible, right? You're born with that. And in reversing type 2 diabetes, plants are naturally higher in carbs. The majority of our carbs should be in fruits and vegetables. Okay. All right. Eating whole foods includes whole fruits instead of drinking the processed fruit juice. Okay? Because when you do that, you're getting rid of all the fiber. Okay? And then you need the fiber. Also, you know, don't mess with our food. Are you ready to show this? One more thing on this. The processed foods that we eat, they did a study. They found out that beta carotene was good for you. So they took it out of yams and they began a 10-year study giving 10,000 people beta carotene. They killed 3,000 people and stopped it. Or I forget how many people, but they stopped it in the third year, killing thousands of people. You know what? Just eat the food. Don't mess with it. This soy protein isolate that's in all this Beyond Meat, I don't touch that stuff. Why do you need to pharmaceutically mess with a pea? They take the pea and put it in a pharmacy and isolate something out of it, and then put it in a meat group. The Whole Foods CEO publicly ousted Bill Gates, saying that the Beyond Burger was worse for you than eating a real burger. You can throw some oats and peas and carrots together and make your own burger that tastes better than the Beyond Meat. And plus, they want $10 and $15 for it now, and $5.60 to drive to get it. So just make something for yourself for 50 cents at home that your body will give you health. Anyway.
Eating more whole fruits may help prevent type 2 diabetes. Researchers found 3 servings a week of fruits like blueberries, grapes, and apples significantly reduced diabetes risk, while higher consumption of fruit juice was linked to a higher risk. Replacing just 3 weekly servings of fruit juice with whole fruits reduced the type 2 diabetes risk by 7%. Eating more whole fruits may help prevent type 2 diabetes. Researchers found...
Okay. So what about chronic lifestyle and diabetes? The risks of this. We can reverse these things, right? By eating these foods, we actually can reverse diabetes. And this is, okay, I don't know how young everybody here is, but you can eat like garbage for years, and then what happens? The blood vessels in your brain start to die, and you go blind in this eye and half in this one. Then they start cutting your toes off and your feet. It's the number 3 killer. You want to go that way? Or do you want to die naturally in your sleep when you're 100? It's preventable by what we eat. Diabetes is 100% how you exercise and these 10 laws. If you apply these 10 laws, you will eradicate diabetes. Okay?
So much of this is in my control.
Sherry Beatrice is trying to be healthy, especially when it comes to food.
I grew up in the South. I grew up with fried foods, Carb City, tons of sugar. I mean, if it was up to me, I could eat Krispy Kreme all day.
A year ago, Beatrice, who's 62, cut out red meat and adopted a Mediterranean diet.
I eat chickpeas, lentils, beans, all that stuff, lots of salads.
Eating less meat may have also reduced her chances of getting diabetes. A new study followed 100,000 people for 4 years. Those who ate half a serving less of red meat a day reduced their risk of diabetes by 14%. Those who added a half serving increased their risk nearly 50%. The study found the increased risk for diabetes was even greater in processed red meat, like hot dogs, sausage, and salami.
As we enter the summer and we go barbecuing, what I recommend is throw some vegetables on the grill because they're going to be healthier for you.
Diabetes affects about 25 million Americans and is a major cause of heart disease and stroke.
If we can say to patients, get the saturated fats, get the meat out of your diet, and you're going to prevent diabetes, that's hugely empowering.
Sherry's lost 20 pounds and lowered her cholesterol. She says she doesn't miss the meat.
I just feel better. I feel healthier. I feel lighter. I never have that really full feeling after I eat.
But she says she's only human and still has a little ice cream once in a while. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, New York.
Bye. Thank you.
When you think about it, the purpose of cow's milk, I did most of my growing up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. The purpose of cow's milk is to turn a 65-pound calf into a 400-pound cow as rapidly as possible. Cow's milk is baby calf growth fluid. That's what this stuff is. Everything in that white liquid, the hormones, the lipids, the proteins, the sodium, the growth factors, the IGF, every one of those is meant to blow that calf up to a great big cow, or it wouldn't be there. And whether you pour it on your cereal as a liquid, whether you clot it into yogurt, whether you eat it into cheese, whether you freeze it into ice cream, it's baby calf growth fluid. And women eat it, and it stimulates their tissues, and it gives women breast lumps. It makes the uterus get big, and they get fibroids, and they bleed, and they get hysterectomies, and they need mammograms, and gives guys man boobs. This is, cow's milk is the lactation secretions of a large bovine mammal who just had a baby. It's for baby calves. You know, I tell my patients, go look in the mirror. Now, do you have big ears? Do you have a tail? Are you a baby calf? If you're not, don't be eating baby calf growth fluid in any level. There's nothing in it people need. When you think about it.
I absolutely love that. Huh? Baby cow growth hormone. Anybody want some of that? Yeah, if you want to bulk up. Anybody need to bulk up for the football season? I know a football guy who was on a team. He'd go to the ag shop and get the stuff that they use for baby cows to bulk up and drink that. And he was a big boy, you know. But baby cow growth hormone, all right? A whole food plant diet based diet can prevent or reverse America's #1 killer, heart disease also. Okay, so we'll get into this. Our next slide here. Let's go in from one more here.
Only by his turbocharged someone we all know who's turbocharged for fast food was matched only by his turbocharged personality. President Bill Clinton. He has made a big change in his diet. He is a vegan, raising the question if the first boomer president can press the restart button at the age of 65. What about the rest of the boomers? Here's ABC's Ryan Claiborne.
There was a time when Bill Clinton never met a Big Mac he didn't like.
I'm eating an apple fritter right now.
Hillary Clinton persuaded White House chefs to cook healthier meals, which kind of worked. But it wasn't until 2004, when he had triple bypass heart surgery, that Bill Clinton truly got serious about changing his eating habits. Then last year, with the goal of shedding 20 pounds for daughter Chelsea's wedding, he cut out all meat, as he explained to Barbara Walters.
For several months, I just essentially quit eating animal products, including dairy.
So it's mostly what, grains and?
I mostly eat vegetables, fruits, and whole grain bread, and I just feel better doing it.
For more than a year now, Clinton has been adhering very closely to what's known as a vegan diet. Like a vegetarian diet, the vegan diet excludes beef, chicken, and pork. But the vegan diet goes even farther. cutting out fish and all animal byproducts, including cheese, milk, and eggs. What does it leave? Mainly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains.
He says that he's doing really well.
Cardiologist Dean Ornish helped teach President Clinton how to eat more healthfully.
Moderate changes weren't enough to help him reverse or prevent heart disease. So he began following more of a plant-based diet. In our studies, we showed that it could actually reverse the progression of heart disease. Within a month, we found that the blood flow to your heart can improve.
And yet, despite all evidence of its benefits, a lot of people still shun healthier food because it doesn't sound very tasty.
What would you say to people who think that vegan food is bland or tasteless?
They probably haven't tried it.
It's good?
It's excellent.
And not just tasty, but they say it also makes them feel better. And Bill Clinton agrees as he celebrates this milestone birthday today. The formerly corpulent former president says he's slimmer, fitter, and feeling more energetic, Diane, than he has in years.
Someone we all know who's turbo.
You all may remember last year, I actually went on a Project Unhealthy. In 5 days, I gained 8 pounds. In 5 days, I actually became hypertensive, developed high blood pressure. I don't even want to know what was going on inside my body. America, listen up. This is what you're doing to yourself. I did it for 5 days. I felt miserable. I gained weight. I put my body in jeopardy, and it wasn't worth it. And you know what? I'm never going to do it again. Why did I do it? To prove a point. When you eat these foods, it causes an addictive pattern in your mind. But in the end, all you end up is overweight, lethargic, and not feeling good about yourself. This is me. So what happened when I ate a fast food meal? Well, something very simple. The contents enter your stomach, and I'm going to circle some of these contents that I call some of the killer contents of food. Sodium. These are fat molecules. These are refined sugar molecules. No big deal, right? Well, it is a big deal because when they hit your stomach, good things start happening, believe it or not. That's that dopamine release in your brain because dopamine and serotonin are going wild. You feel great. Oh my gosh, this tastes wonderful. It does, right? For the first few minutes. But things are also going on inside your body that aren't so great. Your pancreas is secreting more and more insulin to deal with that massive sugar overload from the fries, from the white bun, from the soda. Insulin does one thing, it drives sugar into cells, but it does something else. It tells your body to store fat. Why else would you have eaten a meal that big and that many calories unless you're about to go into hibernation? That's what you do when you hibernate. You grow a big belly. That fat that you see here, those fat cells actually grow in size. They start to secrete even more toxic substances, leading to heart disease, diabetes, and so many other things. All that sodium causes your blood pressure to go up, so your heart's beating twice as fast against twice as much resistance. And in your brain, you no longer are releasing dopamine, but instead, your brain is signaling you to release cortisol. Cortisol is a chronic stress hormone that ironically tells you to store even more fat. And last but not least, what isn't going on in my brain right now? I'm 30 minutes after my meal. There's no more dopamine. There's no more serotonin. I'm lethargic. I feel unhappy, I don't feel good about myself, and that is why when you first eat a fast food meal, you feel great, and 30 minutes later, you feel terrible. You all may remember last year, I actually went on a Project Unhealthy. In 5 days, I gained 8 pounds. In 5 days.
All right. Well, there's a lot said there, wasn't there? Tremendous. Antioxidants help to fight free radicals, okay? And that's in all our colorful foods, our purples, foods, green foods, all that is the cancer-fighting stuff. How many people die a year from smoking? About 489,000 people. 10% of that, 40,000 from secondhand smoke. How many people die a year from saturated fats? Well, cardiovascular disease is about a little shy of 1 million. If you include diabetes in that, you're looking at about 1.5, 1.6 million people. Now, I've said this to people for a number of years, and no one has, if you're not able to process this, that's fine. But you're better off smoking cigarettes than you are eating meat. Think about that. It's healthier to smoke cigarettes. And, okay, not that you should, but another thing is milk. Let's think about milk for just 1 second. Baby growth hormone. What is cheese? Cheese is milk that is 10 times more dense. They have to take cheese and dry it out till it's 10 times more dense than milk. That's what cheese is. Oh, but you're vegetarian now. You're not getting any meat. You better put the cheese on there. Anyway, with that said, let's have our next, certain vegetables and fruits. And your ACE, right? That's what all you're going to get when you eat your fruits and vegetables. You're going to get all those that you need. Going to boost your immune system, right? And we know that sugar kills your immune system. Next slide. Okay, a good nutritious diet, which includes fruits and vegetables rich in antioxidants, vitamins and minerals, will increase immune function. To avoid colds and flus or any other bacterial virus, one need to look no further than what is found in nutrient-dense foods. Conversely, research shows that fats have the ability to impair our immune system's function, and cut fat from the diet allows the immune system to be strengthened. All in all, a diet high in vitamins, low in bad fats, high in fiber, and low in toxic chemicals and animal protein will keep the body's defense system on guard and thereby protecting you from flu in the cold season. Amazing, isn't it? Especially during COVID and all this stuff we're talking about that's in the news. Next slide.
Well, here's something you probably didn't want to hear. We are in prime season to get sick, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Time for that nagging reminder to eat your fruits and veggies.
Now, this sounds basic, but here's why it's important. Fruits and vegetables have antioxidants, and antioxidants neutralize free radicals, which really, if left unchecked, can start to poison your body.
If you're not getting rid of those free radicals, all kinds of bad things can happen to you. So cells can be destroyed, your immune system is weakened, and that is when you get sick. So we asked fitness and nutrition expert Mark Mcdonald to come in and help keep us all healthy. All right, so most people don't even know that they don't even get the 2 servings of vitamins that they really need a day of fruits and vegetables and all that. But you say we actually need how many? 12?
At least 12
wow.
a day. So every day we're 10 short. And that's what really is causing people's immune system to just hurt. And it's like your cells start to rust. When you don't get enough antioxidants through fruits and veggies, you have oxidative stress, and it's like internally you begin to rust and your cells are destroyed.
So what's the best vitamin to take? Which should we have every day, bar none?
So these are vitamins, vitamin A, C, and E, and we'll talk about each one, but they actually are antioxidants.
Okay.
So we look at vitamin A. These are great sources to work into. You have sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, butternut squash, dried apricots, and carrots. So that provides you with vitamin A, great for your eyes and vision and immune booster. Then vitamin E, we asked, like olive oil is a great essential fat, but grapeseed is a powerful in vitamin E, great to cook with. Almond butter, almonds, seeds, and we love avocados.
We sure do.
So this is vitamin E, so A, E, and then C.
Over here.
We have green leafy veggies. These are kale. People love like kale shakes. I know that you love those, Randy.
I'm a fan.
Broccoli, your peppers, look at all the colors, and then oranges. And that's vitamin C. These are boosting, these are immune booster vitamins, A, C, and E.
So I find, though, it's really hard to sort of keep track. I mean, is it possible that you're getting too many vitamins or too many antioxidants? I mean, how do you know?
Well, you can't have too many fruits and veggies. But what the mistake people make is they say, okay, vitamin A is great for my vision. I'm going to take a vitamin A supplement, and they're going to take a pill, and that's when you start having problems because they're overloading on vitamins in specific needs when they're not doing the whole fruits or veggies.
People always say go with real food, right? That's better.
Go with real food, or if you're going to supplement, you have to make sure that you're taking, there's new supplementation now that actually is like whole fruits or veggies that are infused in a liquid format so you can drink it, so you're not just getting a piece of a vitamin C, you're actually getting this whole thing in a liquid format.
So liquid is better than solid when you're taking the vitamins?
Always. Fully absorbed. Liquid is always going to absorb much better into your tissue.
Okay.
And the antioxidants, once again, what do? They're just really good for us.
So every time we take a breath, we create a free radical, and that's like a left unchecked a poison to your body. Antioxidants neutralize that free radical, protect your cells, boost your immune system, increase your metabolism speed, and really just allows us to fight those colds that none of us want.
So how many servings of fruits and vegetables do you eat every day? I'm just curious.
Well, I eat about probably about 6 or 7 fruits, and then I supplement with liquid antioxidants.
All right.
Because we're busy.
We are.
And so I actually get about 18 when I put it all together. I get about 18 servings of fruits and veggies. Because we're busy, that's why I supplement too.
We're going to keep looking so young. The more we have, the more.
I know, right? If I start taking the advice, yeah, it'll work.
Yeah, you got to take the advice. Everybody at home as well.
Yes.
Mark Mcdonald, thank you.
Thanks so much, Randy and Victor.
Well, here's something.
Antioxidants are found in many fruits and vegetables, and they might just be your body's ultimate secret weapons against cancer. But what exactly are antioxidants, and why are they so good for you? As I've discovered, most of you don't even have a clue. What's an antioxidant?
I don't know.
You know any antioxidants?
No, I know it's in green tea.
You know what an antioxidant is?
An antioxidant?
Yes.
No.
You know what has antioxidants in it?
I don't want to say the wrong stuff.
I'm with your daughter here. I've got a question for both of you. Can you name an antioxidant?
No.
Joining me is one of my all-time favorite guests, cancer prevention pioneer, Dr. William Lee. Dr. Lee, thank you very much for joining us as always. Talk about antioxidants and how they prevent cancer.
Well, antioxidants are natural protective molecules that Mother Nature has laced into a large number of foods. And there are literally thousands of different types of antioxidants, but they all do pretty much the same thing. They protect our DNA in healthy cells from the type of damage caused by free radicals, which are harmful chemicals that our body absorbs from things like cigarette smoke or pollution or fried foods or other sources of the environment. So antioxidants protect our DNA against the kind of damage that can cause cancer.
So you see why it's so important to both of us, and all doctors are concerned about preventing cancer, that you have enough. So everyone in our audience today is wearing their antioxidant health on their sleeve. Now, let's see how you did. Are you ready? I don't want to see any reds, any oranges. Let's see the numbers for the audience. You're all down here. Can I tell you something? You're America. You're a cross-section of everyone watching the show right now. Let me just go through these because it completely blew my mind. We have almost 40% of the audience in the lowest category possible. I actually didn't think we'd find anybody there. Not naively thought that at least we're getting enough of these antioxidants into our bodies that wouldn't be there. Another 40% had the orange category, which is still, to me, a dangerously low level. And we only had a total of about 6% having greens and blues. Put your hands up if you're greens and blues. Let me just see. It's like, yeah, I mean, there are a couple folks. But, you know, it's not many. Congratulations, by the way. Yeah. So the question then becomes, you know, why is it they're having these problems? And it's not surprising because we're getting on average about 2 to 3 servings of fruit per day and vegetables. It's not enough. And we know that. What do we talk about? 5, 7, 9, big numbers of servings, fistful size. So,
well, you can certainly get antioxidants in pill form, but the very best way of actually getting antioxidants is in the foods that we eat.
And what about organic versus inorganic? I get asked that a lot from the audience. Does it make a big difference with regard to antioxidant power?
Yeah, well, some studies have actually shown that foods grown organically can have greater levels of antioxidants. And the reason is because antioxidants also protect plants. And when plants are grown organically, that's without pesticides or chemicals or antibiotics, they actually have to produce more antioxidants to protect themselves. Right. And when we eat them, we get the benefits too.
Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah. Now, why is Stephanie wearing a red shirt?
Because I have an addiction to pastries. So I really wasn't surprised at my results.
Well, let me just point a couple things out to folks who may be surprised by your results. You're thin, you look athletic, you look fit, and your numbers are still low. Your numbers weren't just low, they were among the lowest we found in the entire audience of 200-some people here. So it's a dangerously low number. I want to sink in to everybody today the fundamental principles of what antioxidants are and why I care about them, and why world-class physicians and cancer researchers like Dr. Lee are dedicating their lives to getting this message out. You want to play with me a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. So this is what your DNA looks like. Okay. You see the balloons lined up, and they're very neatly aligned along these little cables, because when the DNA has to reproduce itself, it's got to make a perfect copy. If it makes a mistake when it copies, what happens?
It's going to continue.
And it'll make mistakes that are propagated, right? It's like you're giving your kids a bad habit. They're going to take it to their kids. Right. So you make bad habits in DNA, and they turn into rogue sociopathic cells, which we call cancer. All right, so you get to be a free radical.
Okay.
So I want you to take your free radical power, and I want you to knock off these balloons. I want you to show what it can do to DNA when the DNA is not protected and free radicals can attack it. Go ahead, whack away. Yeah. And one more. And what happens? It begins to get very, very unstable. Now, if I don't hold it, it's going to collapse. Now, what ends up happening when you lose all of this power is that you begin to make the errors I'm speaking about. Then, the body has to develop a technique to protect it. It's called an antioxidant. So I'm going to be the antioxidant now. And my job is to prevent you from knocking off the remaining pieces of this, right? Otherwise, the whole thing collapses and we're done. You're going to have oxidation. You're going to have stress in your life. The kids are going to get you tired. You're going to have issues at work. That's going to happen. You're going to eat foods that aren't always perfect for you. I'm okay with that. But you got to have the antioxidant back up to come in there and defend you. So go ahead, not try to take it away. There. Go on, one more time. Try to get at it. She's hard, all right? You can't get there, right?
Nervous.
Just take a whack up there. Try to get it. Right. The free radicals are fast and they're quick, but the antioxidants are your natural mechanisms that we have always had for all of our existence. Every human being ever created has had antioxidants that can protect us from the world around us. That's why this is so critical.
Antioxidants are found in many fruits and vegetables, and they might just be your body's
Okay, so this is all this research that we've been talking about, lowering your BMI. Okay, we had all this. Talking about a whole grain vegetable. And right? It's also, let's have the next slide. It's also eating the right amount of food on a regular basis that's important, right? The simple food that we eat should be quality food. That's one thing that they were talking about, all right? Now, I'll hold this slide for a minute here. Also, the atmosphere that we eat is important. We should eat, if you can, you should take a 15-minute nap before you have lunch. Did I just say that? It'll increase your life if you do that. You might have to wait till you're retired to do that, or get a job where your boss isn't around. But you should take a moment, take at least a few deep breaths, and relax yourself throughout the whole day, but especially right before you eat. You should put yourself and you should eat in a peaceful manner. And we should eat with our families. And if you could pull that one off where it's peaceful and cheerful and have the thankfulness, and have blessings, that's what we want. Okay. It's the greasy foods and the flesh meats and the way they smoke the meats. The cut meats, all the stuff that's packaged that is full of cancer. The more complicated a food is, the worse it is for you. So, in this last slide, so hold on the slides here. Let's go back for that one for just a second. So, a couple more things. We shouldn't eat 5 hours before you go to bed, because your stomach needs to rest. You pound down the food, your stomach gurgles all night, you're not getting rest, your stomach's not resting, it needs to rest. And if you cut out your evening meal, your BMI would normalize. Don't eat fruit and vegetables. They process at different lengths. If you eat your fruits with your vegetables, they'll rot in your stomach. So, baking soda, what it does is it messes up with the alkalinity of your stomach. Your stomach's a 2, it's the same as hydrochloric acid or a lemon. They're all 2. You put baking soda down there from breads and stuff, you're messing up your digestion. Hardworking men should eat vegetables. Think about that. There's a paradigm shift. Hardworking men should eat vegetables. Research shows that those who eat plant-based diet have a lower BMI. Okay, so we're about ready to finish up here, and let me just say that what we've learned here in these seminars, living temperately, that when you say no, it has benefits to your body. When you say stop eating dessert at every meal, don't eat dessert so much, when you say no to people, it empowers you. If that person is trying to do something and you know you shouldn't go with you saying no, it strengthens you. The same with the foods. You want to be in a bad relationship with someone who beats you up? You want to be in a dysfunctional relationship? That's what this food is. It's a dysfunctional relationship. Say no to the people in your life that want to cross your boundaries. It may taste good, but going down, it wreaks havoc in you. Say no to those foods. You don't want to be in a dysfunctional relationship with people or your food. Okay, our next slide. And that's saved us tremendously. We also learned investing time in others. We learned how Rockefeller was about to die, the richest man in the world. He was a millionaire when he was 23. When he was 50, he was the first billionaire. He was going to die. All his physicians could not help him. He turned around and gave. He created foundations, and he became whole. Because when we give to others, it's more blessed than when we give to ourselves. And we showed research for that. Let's have our next slide. Every one of these was mind-blowing, changing our lives. Stress. We talked about stress last night. Look at this. You're filling up the doctor's offices because we have not filled our room with air and oxygen when we breathe and get up and being thankful to the Lord, going for a walk and enjoying the nature. We don't have this peace, I believe in you, Christ. I believe, these are my problems, but I trust in you, Lord. I have this confidence in you. And we're doing the breathing exercises. Next slide. This is what we've been learning this week. Each of these nights, we learned the benefits of sunshine. We learned that the benefits of sunshine will reduce your heart attacks. It gets rid of cancer and diabetes. It's amazing what we learned. Reversing all sorts of diseases. Our next slide. Water, we learned about that. How much water are we supposed to drink? Anybody remember? How much water do you drink? How much water are you supposed to drink? Half of your body weight in ounces is what you're supposed to drink every day. You need that. Your body needs that. Sure, you can live till you're 60 and die if you want, but your body needs this. If you want to live extra years, you want to live decades longer and be healthy, you don't want to be hobbling around, drink half of your body's weight in ounces, and if you're exercising, drink some more. Okay, next slide. Trying to briefly go over what we learned. Okay, hold this slide for a minute. What we done, exercise is another fountain of youth. Walking is the best exercise. 30 minutes, get your heart rate up. You can also do burst for a little bit, get your heart rate up, cool down, burst again. Super. Then you only have to walk for 10-15 minutes if you can burst your heart rate and then cool down and keep bursting it. You do that for 10-15 minutes. It reverses all sorts of diseases. We went through all of those. So, in conclusion, we're going to show one more video, and then we're going to end here tonight. I just want to give you one more thing here. So, let's have our next video.
Inside of the grocery market is like a cemetery, a burial ground for synthetic, cooked, or processed foods. So people stroll up and down these foodless plots looking for the best packaging. We're a quick fix generation focused on packaging and trends. But when it comes to your health, son, it's as timeless as the sky is blue. You want to see packaging? Who packaged this? Who made these bright colors? Now that's packaging. And it's through your innocence that you'll see the carrot looks like an eye, and we know that carrots are good for the eyes. Or the walnut. It's a little brain loaded with brain foods. And I'm amazed how the tomato looks just like the inside of a heart. You want to hear something kind of funny but sad? My generation lives on buns and rolls, and it shows. 2 out of 3 of us are overweight. However, nature is nutritionally complicated, so we don't have to be. And oh yeah, another thing. See that over there? Beware of those trendy marketeers who will preach inferiorism to you, telling you that the food is no good, the dirt is no good, the air is no good, and the water is no good. They'll even tell you that you're no good, so they can sell you their lifeless, synthetic, fractionated supplements. Here's the deal. If you can breathe, keep breathing. And if the water's wet, drink it. The cleaner, the better. And of course, if God made it, eat it. If man made it, leave it alone or eat it in moderation. All of these drug and pill pushers have slowly handicapped our generation, making health an event. But you need to know that health is a habit. It's not an event. It's the little things we do day after day that lead to wellness or disease. It's not a handful of supplements chased by a frothy, nasty green drink on a Saturday morning. That's not health. That's hope and toxicity. Which reminds me, I am not going to raise you to be a fanatic. Fanatics die every day of self-inflicted stress. That's why they have bad breath. So live a little, but do so with your eyes wide open. Someday, you're going to have dreams just like me. Dreams of love, family, money, spirituality. But you'll soon see how many people around you set out to create and sustain their dreams, stepping over their health to get there. Only to come up short, hopeless, cynical, fearful, and survivors. But now, they've had a heart attack, or diabetes, or strokes, or they struggle with obesity. But enough is enough, and the buck stops here. You and I are not floating down the stream. So why am I telling you this? Because you're going to outlive me. I'll be your example. I may need your care and assistance someday. And because, of course, I love and care for you. Inside of the grocery market is like a cemetery, a burial ground for some.
Okay. That really wraps up our idea here for our lectures, okay? So we've shared life-changing, a way to change your life for the better. We've shown you things to add to your life. The seminar has not been about detracting or taking things away that we haven't replaced good things with. And in conclusion, look at this. This is a way of living that we're talking about. The food we eat is a way of living. And your mindset, putting your mind on this is the sleep remedy that we gave during the sleep seminar. Think about if you could incorporate this in the way throughout the day, your way of you live your life. But if you have trouble sleeping, make sure there's a current of air coming into the room from a window. The room should be comfortable and not chilling, but with some fresh air circulating through it. Now relax. Pray as you lie there and give your life anew into the hands of God. Then slowly take several deep breaths, holding each one for a moment before exhaling it. Let your mind slow down. Your thoughts are upon God, the peace of being with Him, the need for deep, full breathing. And very soon you will fall asleep. So the idea that we have here is to create this in your life. We are miniature. We're made in God's image, and we have to create this thing. This isn't going to fall into your lap, but to have this permeate the way that you think, to have this saturate your being. You know, to live in this authentic, genuine way, you will live longer and you will live happier. And this is a chance for you to create a new you. So thank you for coming, and I hope everyone is blessed at all these seminars that we've had. One more slide. So he who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. All right, well, have a happy afternoon, everybody. Oh, do you want to have prayer? Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the richness that you've given for us. Certainly there's been more information in this seminar than anybody could process. You've taken our cup and filled it up with so much goodness, Lord. And we thank you that you have so many more things, so many more adventures of good that we could go on. And you want us to live forever, Lord. But this disease has come into the world, Lord, and you've given us a way to live longer, to make a difference. And I just pray as each person's mind becomes more clear, as their bodies function better, Lord, that we would draw closer to you and see our purpose and our connection in this life more clearly. And in your name, Christ, I pray, amen.